Hello, you screwheads and retards. I would like to welcome you all to another edition of my show. I'm up to 17 subscribers, by the way. Not bad. Not great, but not terrible. Anyway, this is called News of the Day, and we take stories from the news cycle and we put a biblical slant on them. I don't know why I keep saying we, it's just me. I take stories and put a biblical slant on those stories. And let's get started. The first story, disturbing one, about our porous border along Mexico. And 4 or 5 dudes were caught entering our country, and we let them go. And it turns out they're from Tajikistan, and that they have ties to ISIS-K, whatever that is. It doesn't sound good, ISIS-K. Anyway, they were eventually apprehended, and I guess now they'll be deported. Who knows? But it brings up this question, like, why is our border open? I don't get it. We don't know who the heck's coming across there. And we even have the head of the FBI, Christopher Wray, saying that we're in danger of a terrorist attack in the future. And again, I just ask, why is that the case? Why would the border be open? You can't survive if your border's open. I can't think of any other country in the world that has such an open border as America. And even this whole policy of, well, we're only going to let 2,500 cross a day. And when it gets past 2,500, we'll shut it down. 2,500 times 10 is 2,500 times 10 is 25,000. And then that's double that, 75,000 times 10 is, that's almost like 1 million people a year crossing the border illegally. What kind of policy is that? And what is its purpose? I have no clue. It's almost like there's a group of people at the top who are trying to destroy the United States, or to transform it into something new. And again, it just leaves me puzzled. I can't figure it out. I can't figure out why that would be anybody's policy. But what do I know, right? All I know is that it's not good for the country. It's obviously not good for the country. So if you can let me know why they're doing this, I'd appreciate it. There's that loon Alex Jones, and I've always considered him a bit of a fringe writer. The government's putting him, completely shut him down now because of his the defamation case. But he used to say all kinds of stuff I thought was goofy. The government's trying to turn people gay, and now you see what's happening. He said this decades ago. The government's trying to turn people gay, and I said to myself, the government's trying to turn people gay. What kind of crap is that? And then you look at it, and you look at the proliferation of gayness, right? Or the government intentionally blew up the Twin Towers. I said to myself, that's the looniest thing I ever heard. But now you see that they're actually ushering these unknown people in across our southern border. And I'm starting to wonder if this guy knows a lot more than I gave him credit for. It's just, it's insane to me. Again, if you can tell me why this border's open, I'd be glad to hear it. I'd love somebody to tell me why, because my pea brain can't figure it out how this benefits our country in any way. I just cannot figure it out for the life of me. The second story I was going to talk about is, well, let's go back and give it a biblical slant. I'm trying to think of let's go with Israel and the Canaanites. How the Canaanites transformed Israel into something it wasn't supposed to be. And they had to, and because of that, Israel had to endure God's wrath on several occasions. Let's go back to the Canaanite gods, Molech, where you had to sacrifice your children throw them in a fire, and Baal and Ishtar and Molech, Baal, Ishtar. I'm trying to think of some more. Chemosh. There are a ton of them. And Israel started to the Queen of Heaven. Israel started to follow these gods, and it corrupted their society, and they were dragged away on several occasions. So that's what seems to be happening to America, is complete corruption. What do I know? Anyway, the second story is the congressional baseball or softball game they held every year. That's the one where Steve Scalise was shot by the crazy libtard. 8 people were arrested. It's these greenies who ran onto the field in protest of global warming. They didn't shoot anybody this time, but it's a new form of paganism, isn't it? This global warming crowd, where they're getting on their knees and they're almost praying to Mother Earth, same way the American Indians used to do, where pray to the sun and pray to the earth and pray to the moon and pray to the stars. And they've turned this into a religion of sorts. And they won't be happy until we're all eating insects and taking the bus. Of course, they won't be eating insects or taking the bus. Most of them are probably college kids, so they'll be zooming by you in their new Mercedes-Benz while you're waiting at the bus stop. And it's something that's caught these young people. It's given them fever of the brain. They actually believe that we are a dying planet, but not because of global warming or acid rain or global freeze. It's just biblical that the world's going to be destroyed and remade. And even if you're an atheist, the sun is eventually going to run out of hydrogen and explode, right? Or go into a red dwarf or whatever it does. I'm not a science guy. So there's only so many finite years that this planet will survive. And this global warming is just something that's caught these young kids and just giving them brain fever. I look at this Greta. How dare you? How dare you? That is not a happy girl. That is a girl with some serious mental problems. She needs to relax a little. Anyway, my last story of the day is Biden voters. Biden voters, who 60% of them aren't into this whole male-female thing. They believe that there are other genders except male and female. And of course, there are only 2 genders. There's male and female. And I go back to Romans 1, this whole idea of people losing their mind, And that's what's happening in our country. People are gradually losing their mind. And they're starting to believe all this stuff. Now, transgenderism has been around for a long, long time. Did you know Emperor Nero married a boy? He had the boy castrated, and he married him in a wedding ceremony, a transgender boy, Of course, Nero was a despicable man, but this is nothing new. This isn't something that suddenly popped up, and when you see this happening in your country and people going crazy, you say to yourself, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's time. Maybe America's had her day in the sun. Maybe it's time to give China a chance. If we can't figure out the difference between a boy and a girl, how the heck can we run the world? It makes no sense. It would make no sense. It makes no sense to anybody. I live in Asia. When you tell people these stories, they just laugh about it, right? Maybe it's time for Asia. See if they can do any better than the crazy white folk. Anyway, I'm at my 10-minute limit. I don't like to go too long, so I'm going to say this before I go. I hope you all have a great day, and if you like this stuff, subscribe. or press the like button. Anyway, God bless you all, and thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.